I don't hear any music.
You know what this is costing the network right now?
You know what? Is the music even coming out there for you guys?
No.
You can hear my sound. You can hear me,
Yes.
but you can't hear the music. Oh, well, I screwed that up. Good, take it away, John.
Are we live?
We're on.
All right.
I screwed up the music this week, so I guess we won't have any of that.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. We're experiencing some technical difficulties, but that's okay because the important people are here. My name's Jay Fish, and I am remote tonight from the beautiful White Mountains in Arizona, where it's cool and wonderful out. I've got my trusty sidekicks with me this evening. I've got Dave. Dave, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona.
Excellent. And in studio, our East Coast connection.
Yeah, you know, I'm usually a tech guy, and I screwed up the tech tonight, and I apologize.
Well, you know, I guess you get what you pay for in these things, so we'll deduct that out of your paycheck. It is it's Wednesday, May 14th, and we're covering you from a couple different time zones. It's 6:18 here on the West Coast, and a little bit later back east. But we are excited to be here. We've got an interesting show planned for you tonight. We talked about doing some different things, and one of the things we have spoken about is opening with some kind of a quote. So I'm going to kind of walk through it tonight a little bit, but from here on out, when I do my intro or get my intro, I'm going to come up with a quote. I gave it some real thought this evening. Should I throw you guys something easy? Should I make it something difficult? So I came up with something I consider to be fairly easy, now that I've put you both on the spot and told you that it's easy. But greed, for lack of a better term, is good.
I couldn't agree more. I don't know what you mean by that, but yes.
It's a quote. It's a quote from...
Is that from Wall Street?
It's one of my favorite movies. Greed, for lack of a better term, is good.
Is that a Wall Street quote?
I don't know. Is that your final answer?
I'm going with that. Michael Douglas.
You know what it is? Yeah, I think you answered it because I wouldn't have got it, but now that you put that in my head, that thought in my head, I'd say 95% Wall Street quote.
So you're going to bandwagon. All right. Well, I was glad. I tried to pick something fairly easy. You guys are both correct. It's from 1987. It's Wall Street. It's one of my favorite movies. So I've decided next week I'm going to make it a little more difficult. You're going to have to go back in the vault a little bit. I may even find a black and white movie out there occasionally.
Wow.
But you guys,
the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, something along those lines, right?
I figured you were reading it right off the internet.
Oh, you can. We can see it right in your glasses. Don't pretend like you're smart.
Yeah, but you're right. The full quote is, the point is, greed, for lack of a better term, is good. So excellent, good job, guys.
I didn't have to look that up, by the way.
So we kind of have a topic chosen for tonight. We're going to we're kind of going to do a little bit of a sports thing, and I'll get to. It's going to be a serious topic on sports, I guess. It's very controversial. We kind of went light last week on what we were going to talk about, but tonight we're going to talk about something that seems to be in the news quite a bit. I believe we have some other things going on towards the end of the show. Are we still doing our sports picks?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what? I got to go in there and you know what the hard part is? The second round hasn't finished yet, so we don't have any sports picks to really go to. We got a couple things that we can talk about because some of the NHL stuff has finished, but the NBA stuff has not finished at all. So we may not have sports picks this week because we're in the middle of rounds here.
And I was actually ready for tonight. I even had my picks going to the point where if so and so plays so and so, then this is who I'm going to pick. And so I was actually prepared for tonight. The one time I'm ready, and look at that. You're killing me, man.
Yeah. It doesn't. You know, if we did this show on Friday, we probably Friday would probably have been better because I think that all these. No, actually, there's some Game 7s going on tonight.
Yeah, we can still pull up what's going on and we can make some predictions, right? I mean, there's always something happening and some games that we can make picks with. We still got some basketball going on, still some hockey going on, right?
Yeah, we definitely have some stuff to talk about, so we'll talk about that lighter side.
Well, as late as we're running over sometimes when the three of us get rolling, they may be in Game 5 of the NBA Finals by the time we get this show wrapped up. You never know.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, guys, it's always good to be together with you in the evenings. I really look forward to this. I cut my work day short as quick as I could to get back, and I'm trying this from an iPad. So we're going to be doing, between Dave and I, we do some traveling. So we'll have some remote locations, and you never know. Maybe one of these days I'll be sitting out on the patio, and you can see the beautiful scenery and the weather that I'm experiencing up here. But kind of onto our topic this evening. We talked about something that seems to be very controversial and very prevalent in the sports world today. If you're following football, you know the NFL draft has happened, and one of the things that has been very controversial and very, very in the media is the St. Louis Rams' most recent draft pick. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't do my homework good enough to know the player's name, but he is the
Michael Sam.
Michael Sam. Thank you, Dave. Michael Sam. What is it? 7th round draft pick for the Rams.
Correct.
And as a side note, that happens to be one of Dave's favorite teams. So we're
It is
expecting.
It is my favorite team. It's actually more favorite now.
Yeah, it's not just Dave's. It's a family thing.
Oh, are you a Ram guy too?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, this is going to be fun because I grew up in San Francisco, and the 49er Ram rivalry has been going on since the beginning of football, I think. And I'm not sure who's ahead right now.
As all time.
As all time, I'm not sure who's ahead right now. We'll get our
probably
statistician on.
really, really, really close. You know what? We've got the power of the interweb. We could probably pull that up, but I bet you it's within a couple of games.
Oh, you mean who has the upper hand as far as wins?
Yeah, exactly.
I think San Francisco's ahead a little bit on that. But
yeah, I think the last couple seasons
close.
Got us back out front again.
Let's take a look here.
Well, the Rams have certainly made a very, very controversial draft pick. Seems to be the talk of the NFL right now, as to because he has openly come out and professed himself to be the first announced openly gay player in the NFL, which has sparked a lot of controversy.
I don't know why. Personally speaking, I have no idea why this should be a big deal. He's a great player. That's all you gotta know.
So now, how about a little background on this player?
Sure. What do you mean?
I mean, I don't follow college football, so for me and anyone else out there who's ignorant to college sports, tell me a little bit about him.
You know, I don't really follow my college sports at all either, but I know that he did come out to his teammates while he was in college, and they had no problem with it, which obviously, they shouldn't. He proved himself that he's a great football player. We'll see how great he is in the NFL. I don't, my opinion of him isn't going to change because of who he is or what he does or in his free time. It's going to be more about, is he good for the Rams? Is he good for the team? Is he good for the NFL? That's really what it's going to come down to. Just like any other player in the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can say that, but and I get where you're going, but do you think that's where all the attention's going to be? You don't think people are going to be thinking other things and saying other things? I mean, even during the draft, I mean, there was a lot of controversy. You had other notable players and stuff like that making comments and tweets and that type of thing about the kiss, and that's kind of what kind of sparked all of this. And it's, and I know where you're going with this, and I know what you believe and what we all want to believe. It's all about the game, and none of that should matter. But I don't think that that's necessarily the case right now. We can say that, and we can want it to be that, but is that really what it is right now?
I'm not saying it's the case. I'm saying it's how I believe. I know there are ignorant people out there. That's just the way it is. There are going to be stupid people that make stupid comments. That you're never going to stop that. Now, I mean, I'm just telling you personally how I feel. I don't care. I don't care one way or another.
Okay, and I get that, and people are going to share your opinion, but this goes a lot deeper than just the NFL. I mean, people have religious beliefs and so on and so forth. I mean, we could really go deep into this thing. That's what's going to create the controversy. So not your personal opinion or my personal opinion. Everybody's got an opinion.
So Jason, let me ask you a question, because you seem pretty passionate about this, and you're right. People are going to make ignorant comments, and we're all going to determine what we consider to be an ignorant comment. But why do you think that? I'm going to ask you two questions. Why do you think that he did this? Why did he openly profess that he's a gay athlete when heterosexual athletes don't profess that? What part of football? Where does this fit into football? And is there a backstory to this? I mean, why are we even talking about it?
Well, that's a good question. Why we're talking about it? But you say that other sports guys don't profess their straightness or gayness out there, and maybe they do, and you don't. I mean, how about the guys who come out there with two girls hanging on their arms, kissing up, going to clubs, making out, doing that kind of stuff, hiring prostitutes? You don't think that is kind of the same thing? Saying they're just not using the same words.
Well, I think
they're telling you that they're straight.
I don't think so. I think they're doing that because that's what they're doing. They got money. They're having fun. They're not going to. They might be looking for attention, negative, positive, whatever. It's just going to happen because of who they are and what they are. I think that's a little bit different than actually going to the media and saying, I want to make a statement. I think there's a difference there.
I don't think he went to the media and said, he never went to the media and said, I'm making a statement. He made a statement to his teammates, and then the teammates leaked it out to the media, and then it became a big deal. That's where it became. He never came out and held a press conference to say, nobody knew who this guy was until he said stuff.
He hasn't. I mean, he's been on the news. He's been on various different programs.
He's only been saying it because he's been interviewed about it. It'd be the same thing as if somebody was interviewing somebody else and asking, basically saying, okay, are you straight? Is this the way you're coming out? And I mean, my personal opinion is he doesn't need to say anything to anybody. But if he wants to bring his boyfriend to the game, or if he wants to kiss his boyfriend because he's happy and he's excited about it, that's great. I mean, there's a lot of other bad stuff that's happening in that players do in this league. You need to worry about that kind of stuff.
Do you think that any of this had to do with drawing attention to himself and maybe improving his chances in the draft?
No, I mean, well, and you could see it probably was detrimental to him. I don't think that he thought that coming out and doing this was going to help him out in any way. I think he just was stating the fact. He's like, I think he wanted to do it on his own terms instead of hiding and trying to figure this out. I think he came out and just wanted to do it on his own terms and say, listen, it's going to come out eventually. I'm gay. That's the way it is.
That's kind of my thoughts. I think you could probably get away with this through school, through college, what have you. But at some point, when you're at the top of your profession, when you're in a professional capacity, whether it's sports or otherwise, people are going to start digging, and it was going to come out one way or another. And maybe just he just kind of headed it off. He decided, hey, I'm going to do this before there's speculation, before there's rumor or anything else, and I'm just going to make the announcement, and then we won't have any of that. And that's kind of my guess. I'm thinking more along those lines, and maybe at some point he just felt motivated that I want to step up and do this, and this is who I am.
I was talking to a friend a little while ago, about an hour before the show started, and we were discussing, and he posed an interesting question to me. He said, so let's say that he doesn't work out. He's not going to be the player that maybe the Rams expected him to be, whatever. And if the Rams are put in a position where they have to cut him, or he's not going to make the team, what's going to happen then? Is the media going to jump on this, or people going to jump all over this and say, well, they're cutting him because he's gay, because they don't want a gay player, it's too much controversy, or it causes too many problems in the locker room, or is he gonna lose the credibility as an athlete, and people say, well, he only got drafted because he was so controversial. I mean, this is going.
I don't.
No, I mean, I don't think any NFL team out there wants to draft somebody because they think that, hey, this guy's going to be a controversial guy and shake it up in there. They would rather this guy, they bring somebody on and he flies under the radar and he never gets any media attention. That's what the kind of player they want. A guy who can come out there, play a game, do the best he can do, and help out the team and not cause any media problems. Now,
that's the issue you always have in sports, whether it's this or whether it's a high profile, whether it's a head case, is that always seems historically, in my opinion, what I've witnessed, to create more issues and problems for teams. They don't want that. The teams deal with their own issues. They've got their own agenda. I don't think they want any of this. I honestly think this is going to blow over. I mean, there'll be obviously some talks and conversation about this going forward, but I think at some point this is not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that if he hadn't been drafted, and I guess now I'm speaking to the peddlers of an agenda. Do you think if he hadn't been drafted, that the media and or certain people would be out there saying right now he didn't get drafted because the NFL's not ready to draft a gay player? Would he say that?
Well, I mean, I got news for you. They've already drafted gay players before. It's just people haven't come out and said it.
But Jason, you were in the military. You know how this works. Yeah, let's look at it from that standpoint for a moment. There's plenty of gay military people. I'm speculating. I'm guessing because I'm thinking in all walks of life. I mean, it's just a fact of life. Do the math. The percentages say that there are. So with that being said, remember what was the term that they used? The
don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell. So it was the same kind of deal, right? So, but this is a little different. And now, when you're in the military, it's a profession. I agree, but I think it's a little different than this. People aren't going to necessarily call you out unless you're, especially for an enlisted person or along those lines. But I think there's a big difference in drawing attention to yourself, and you can look at this some different ways. And just kind of me thinking out loud. I mean, what was your experience with the military? I mean, for instance.
Forever since I was a kid, gay people never bothered me at all. And I had a lot of gay friends in the military. I knew a lot of guys in the military that were gay, but that was, it was, to me, it's no big deal. I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't affect me any. Why should I care? I actually was, when I went in, and you probably know this too, it was an ask and tell policy. They ask you the question. They specifically asked when I went in, are you gay?
What was your answer?
I said, maybe. Do they send us to a special school for that? No. I mean, It was
Do we need
basically
a disclaimer? The views expressed on this show are those of the hosts and not part of the network.
I said flaming.
So
No.
I mean, yeah, we can laugh about it. I mean, it's
No,
funny.
I'm
I mean,
not gay, but I will consider it.
I'm
right?
willing to
I'll
learn.
try it. I mean,
I am open to ideas.
It was one of those things. They always asked, and if you said yes, you weren't getting in. You weren't getting in the military.
but there was a lot of things that you could say yes or no to, and so I think that was a way of calling you out, whether you are or not. It was a matter of answering it. I remember in boot camp we had the moment of truth, and it was, I don't remember the gay thing, but it was a drug thing or a legal thing. Did you ever do any drugs, or did you do this or that? If you answered yes, they let you out. There was no repercussions. There was none of that. You were just like you were never there. They just discharged you, made you go away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
That was a voluntary deal, right? I mean, it's up to you.
Sure.
You answer it how you want to do it.
So
What if you weren't? What if you're not sure? What if you're kind of on the fence? You know, you're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I mean,
What if you're bi?
well, I mean, there are people like that. There are people.
well,
that
if you're
just love
bi,
beautiful people.
you're still gay.
And I
Well,
know.
what if
I've
while
known
you're
people
on
like
duty you're straight, and when you're off duty you're not straight?
All right, so I got a serious question for both of you, because you guys have both served in the military, and Jason, I didn't know that about you. I had no idea that you had served in the military.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his sexual orientation.
No, we're not going to
Sorry,
talk.
go ahead.
We're not going to talk about his sexual orientation unless he wants to be drafted in the NFL, and then we're going to expect that he would come out and let us know. So with both you guys serving in the military, and for someone who has never served in the military, I appreciate what you both have done, because if it wasn't for guys like you, guys like me would be in trouble, because and I'm very sincere about that. But having said that, now, having both served in the military, if you had homosexual people in your company or whatever, does that mess up the cohesion of the group?
Absolutely not. I know I worked with guys.
Actually,
that were, I'm friends with a lot of guys that were, and no, I mean listen, just because they aren't straight doesn't mean they can't shoot straight. And I guess they are some of those guys that are the best shots that you've ever seen. They're just.
Now, are you talking weaponry?
Hey, this is a family show.
You draw your own conclusions on that. No, I mean they could save your life just like anybody else. I mean, they're when you're in a war situation, they are your comrades, and that's that. I mean, it really.
Were there people in your group that wouldn't agree with you?
No, probably. I mean,
what about you, Dave? You were in the Marine Corps. What's your take on that?
Yeah, my opinion. This is a question that I'll never forget. And it was it was more of a race deal, and they said, do you care what the color of the person is that saves your life? Meaning, because there was you dealt with a lot of racism too, right? So the question really was, do you care who it was? At the end of the day, I mean, whether you like each other, you don't like each other, I think, and that's reinforcing what Jason's talking about. We're people. We have different beliefs, different backgrounds, different religious beliefs, different everything. I mean, we come up from different parts of the world and raised differently, and our thought processes are differently. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're there for a common goal, and I think that's what it's all about. And so when you think of it in those terms, it kind of opens your mind.
So now going back to applying that to football, do you think that this could affect the cohesion in the locker room?
I think it can. And that's only because there is a lot of ignorant people in the playing football. You have ignorant people that have come out already and said stuff about it. I mean, they're just stupid people.
Okay, so I have a comment on that because you have used the term ignorant now 3 or 4 times.
Sure.
Okay, and I understand that's how you feel that someone may not. I personally, for me, I have no problem with someone who's homosexual. That's their choice. As
Not a
much as I
choice.
make my choice. Yeah. Well, okay, that's a whole nother show. But whatever it is, okay, choice. It's the situation that they are in life, whether it's by choice or whether it's not by choice. It's their life. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. But when you refer to it as ignorance, in my opinion, that is an opinion. When you like if I said that I don't believe in homosexuality. Let's say I am religious, but let's say my religious beliefs were very strong, that were anti-homosexual, anti-gay, anti-lesbian, and basically when you say, well, that's ignorance, I consider that to be an opinion of yours because you consider it to be ignorance because I don't agree with you, but I might in turn say that I think your opinion is ignorance. I don't believe that, but so I think that's kind of interesting that you refer to it as ignorance.
There's a difference between ignorance and being dumb.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, so ignorance is
ignorance is, but see, ignorance is more of just being uneducated about something. Now this is where it gets interesting. So if that is the case, now John, if your religious belief tells you that is wrong, and that's what you believe, and that's what your faith is, I don't think you can call it ignorance. I mean, we could get into the religion thing. There, how many different religions there are? We believe so many different things and pray to different gods and so on and so forth. That's what you believe in. That's what your faith is. So if you're going to bring that into it, I think that's a game changer there too. The other thing is growing up, especially through school, and I played football in school. It is such a masculine type of a thing, and I mean everything from the hazing to this and that, whether you agree with it or not, that's just what it is. So I think that was a hard, I mean, we live in a different world today, and the way we think today is a lot different than we do, and I could go on and on and on about all of that too, but I think the way we were raised told you a whole different story. I mean, this was a manly thing, and this was this and this and kind of deal. So that's a lot of other things to consider too. We all have our beliefs and we all have our opinions. You know, ignorance. I sure, absolutely. There's a ton of ignorance. I mean, we've got a lot of ignorant people in this world, but when you look at it from that standpoint, it does raise some interesting questions, and it makes you think a little bit more. So
then going, so and the ignorance thing, the choice thing, no choice thing. I mean, we could probably have a 4-part mini series discussing this, and at the end of the day, it's gonna probably just be everybody's opinion. But I'll for the sake of argument, I will yield and say that it's ignorance. You said it was ignorance, and there's a lot of ignorance in the locker room, and I'll say, okay, I agree with that. Even if that's the case, if it's all based on ignorance, if the fact that it affects the cohesion of the team and adversely affects the team because there's a homosexual player on the team and in the locker room, even if that's ignorance based, what kind of effect does that have on the team? And so what do you do? I mean, there's been other sports teams that have gotten rid of players. The San Francisco 49ers got rid of Terrell Owens because his antics were so bad that the team just couldn't take it. And so if this becomes a situation like that with the team, what does the team do, or what can they do? And is it inappropriate if the team cuts him or something because he's just making it too hard for the team to function as a team?
My personal thought, I don't think that'll happen. Now, there's been plenty of sports, and it's usually what you're talking about in T.O. and Terrell Owens and other players. There are situations. And we could go on and on. There are a number of players that it was all about me and that kind of thing. I think that's always a distraction. It usually takes a strong head coach or somebody to stand up. I mean, San Francisco was Singletary was a good example of that. They're just not going to tolerate it. And at some point, it's like, hey, this is a program. I'm not afraid to bench you, that kind of deal. And that's kind of another story. I don't think that's going to happen with this. I honestly think I don't think it's going to be that big of a distraction. I think we live in a different world today. The way we think about things and the way we deal with things and sensitivity, this and that, and what have you, I think it's going to be handled much differently. I honestly think a couple days, regardless of his capacity or where he ends up or the role that he plays with the team, I honestly believe a couple games into the season, it's all going to be forgotten. He's just going to be another player. That's my take on it. I do not think that it's ever going to get to a point that's going to be that big a distraction. Whatever he does in the league, whether he stays with the Ram, whether he continues to play football, whether he's traded, whatever the case is, I believe today with where we are that this is just going to be a passing deal. It's not going to be a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I really think that if it was going to be a big deal, the Rams wouldn't have brought him on there. And I'm, it does make me really kind of proud to be a Rams fan, knowing that they're going to take a chance and they're going to say, you know what, we're going to throw this out there. We don't care about the gay part. We care about is he going to be a good player.
I bet you that wasn't. I don't even think that was a consideration. I think they go, this is a guy, this is stats, this is what he does, position he's play, we can use him, we'll take him. I like Fisher. I think he's a good coach. I think that was his standpoint. I think all of that was irrelevant to him. He took him for the player he is, had nothing else. He's not going to worry about the media. It's a team thing. End of the day, you come there, you come as a team. The things we deal with, it happens in the locker room as a team, and we'll handle it that way. And I think that's his thought process. I think that's the way it's going to work out. Sure, there'll be speculation and talk and stuff like that, but that'll all die off.
So one of the things I saw happened, I don't know if it happened today or whenever it was, but we've already had our first with social media and everything else. I don't know the player's name or anything, but it looks like somebody from Miami tweeted out and made some comments about the player, and I believe they were negative comments, and
it really was all about because he kissed his boyfriend, and he was happy, he was excited that he was that he got drafted, and he kissed his boyfriend, and they're like, oh man, it's disgusting. Well, I mean, maybe he looks at you when you kiss your wife that he thinks that's disgusting. But that's okay to do in front of live TV. But heaven forbid that he kisses the one he loves.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that his comments were appropriate. I think he probably. You're right. Nobody would if he kissed his wife after getting drafted. Nobody would say anything. In fact, probably if he didn't kiss his wife, some idiot would probably make a comment about him. Not loving his wife or something. Yeah. But it was kind of interesting that, and with social media, it just, it goes viral so quickly. Looks like Dave's getting ready to relax here a little bit.
Actually, those particular tweets are what I consider the epitome of the ignorance. And when I think of ignorance, that is exactly what I'm thinking as a guy who makes a stupid comment like that.
All right.
What was the comment?
It was the guy from Miami. I forget his name now, which is probably good anyways. But he made a comment about how Sam kissed
Don Jones.
Yeah.
The safety that he expressed his disapproval, tweeting horrible and OMG after the kiss was aired.
Yeah.
So all right. So
and then who's the other tool that said something about I can't believe ESPN aired that or something like that.
That was the former Super Bowl champion Derek Ward.
Yeah.
And he tweeted that Michael Sam, I'm sorry, but that Michael Sam is no bueno for doing that on national TV.
All right, so then I guess I have a question and a comment regarding this. Again, whether the comment is ignorant, derogatory, whatever it is. Those again are opinions. I think the guy who tweeted it was looking to just draw attention to himself probably, but everybody's jumping all over him, calling him ignorant and everything like that. I believe, I might be misquoting, but he was asked to make an apology for what he said, and so on a grander scale, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago, I think, are we getting to the point now where opinions are being policed? It is his opinion. I mean, if he thinks it's gross,
I want to jump in because I do agree. I think it's unfortunate. I think we've created a monster. We're so sensitive about everything, and sensitivity training for this and for that. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know what's created the issue is social media. Because now, if we had an opinion, or we said something, or I nudged you and I shared my opinion with you, that's probably the end of it. But we have the ability today to jump on our phone and within seconds sharing our thoughts or a comment or whatever with everybody in the world, and then now everybody's going to have an opinion on your comment and retweets and this and that and judging and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think it's so far out of hand. We're looking at it, we all do this. I think it's an unfortunate deal. Sometimes we make comments or have thoughts before we even really think what we do too. I think that's another deal, and sometimes we want to take it back. And I'm not sure who this was in the NFL, and just going off memory, maybe it was Tony Dungy or somebody along those lines, but he said, when you're tweeting and stuff, his remark was, or his thought was, don't hit the send button. And basically saying, be really careful, because once you do that, it's kind of like the old, you can't unring the bell. Once you do it, it's out there. So whether you go back and apologize, whether it's sincere, whether you were coerced into it, whatever the case is, people are going to remember you for that. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you. I think that the apology is crap. It's worthless, because he's forced to do it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have voiced his opinions to begin with. It's not like he said, "Oh, wait a second, yeah, that was okay." No, he thought it was wrong. So did he
really think it's wrong? Did he really think it's wrong, or is he being punished? And he's just trying to make amends. It's like, okay, what do I have to do?
No. When I said it was wrong, I think that he thought that the kiss was wrong, and not that his actions were wrong. He doesn't believe his actions were wrong.
And he did think the kiss was wrong. And reality, I think, and I saw this on a Sunday morning show, is that his opinion probably mirrors more people in this country than does not.
Right.
I know.
I'm not going to.
I agree with that.
Okay, so
yes.
Well, again, those are all opinions, and you know what? And I personally want to allow people to keep their opinions. If your opinion is that that's ignorant, then by God, you should be able to say that, and you shouldn't be afraid. I don't want you, having said that you think that was ignorant, I don't want you to be getting phone calls or something from people that hate you now because the two people in the country that watched this show saw it, and now all of a sudden they're mad at you. I think you have as much right to say that as anybody else.
There's a ton of truth to that. I mean, you could even take it deeper. We all have preferences. You might like, a certain car, or the way a certain person looks, or this or that. Those are all personal preferences, and we're going to have our own opinions. I mean, that's what makes us who we are. That's where I have a problem with the sensitivity thing. I mean, I think we need to be careful. I think we need to be respectful. I mean, those are the big things. And maybe we should just throttle back a little bit before we put our thoughts and words out there to the world. Maybe we should just take a little bit more time and consideration before we share that. We all have opinions, but we all have to live together. So let's just try and be respectful for one another and honor each other's thoughts and beliefs and stuff like that, whether or not we share the same thoughts and beliefs and religious connotation, whatever the case may be. I think that's the big picture. We just have to have a little leeway, some understanding and compassion for each other.
What do you think would have happened, or what do you think? I mean, I know hypotheticals are hypotheticals, but they're fun. So let's have a little fun. What do you think would have happened hypothetically if a homosexual player, and we can expand this into anything, politics, pop culture, but we're on sports. So what do you think would have happened if a homosexual player had tweeted out social media about a heterosexual player kissing his wife or something like that, and made a comment and said, you know, Tom Brady was making out with his supermodel smoking hot wife, and said, "Oh, that's disgusting, watching a guy and a girl make out."
I think it would have probably been more laughable. Probably would have been a non-issue. Probably would have just been swept under the rug. Probably wouldn't have had any attention go to it at all. Depending on who he was, and even if it was, it would have been forgotten. And that's the double standards of the world we live in. That's my honest opinion. I don't think it would have been anything.
So is that, Jason? Is that a double standard that that a heterosexual person, a straight guy, makes a derogatory comment about a gay person, and he gets raked over the coals and forced into a apology. But if a gay guy made a similar comment about a straight guy, we'd all just laugh it off. And you know what? It probably wouldn't have even made anything but Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody would have even said anything. I mean, if they did, if somebody made a big deal about it, they would have made him, they would make them apologize as well. But, I don't know. The apologies to me are crap. They're
Lame.
Not even, you shouldn't even do it. I mean, because you've already said it. It's not doing anything. All you're doing is saying.
But you can't say somebody can't. I mean, you could have remorse. You could be genuinely sorry, or we've all had brain farts before. We've all said things that we go, what, I probably should have said that. And sometimes we do things before we think about it. Maybe we're doing it because we think it's funny, or we got whatever the case may be, and go, that probably was inappropriate. So I mean, I don't want to be.
Well, there's one thing about saying something and then thinking, okay, hey, what I said that was probably inappropriate, but his thought process now. There's no mystery about what his thought process is.
I think it's hard.
You can make him say what's that?
I think it's so hard with I mean, I think 100% it could have been his genuine feeling and his opinion. I also think that maybe he just acted out. I mean, we do that kind of. I know I've done it. I'm guilty of that all the time. I try to. That's one of my biggest challenges sometimes, is to just slow down a little bit. Just a lot of times around my friends or even people I work with, we're always joking and kidding and stuff like that. And sometimes we get carried away, and sometimes we're just so quick to the draw that we're not even thinking about what we're doing. I'm not saying that's the case here, but it is certainly a possibility. That stuff happens. Now, do people say stuff and then apologize because they're forced in it and it's not genuine? Absolutely. There's no question that happens too. So I think we just got to kind of take a look at all these and take everything into consideration.
I guess for me,
and I'm not buying.
I guess for me, I get very nervous about, it seems like, the slippery slope that we're creeping onto with, like what we talked about 2 weeks ago. You've got the owner of the Clippers making private comments. This is not the same because these comments were made in public, but he makes private comments, and we're legislating, or we're trying to control people's thoughts, control people's.
No, I think it's a little different here, because
it is, because
you're talking about a public figure.
I agree.
And you're not talking about the government coming down on him. You're talking about the organization he's associating himself with. So basically,
I agree.
You have different bylaws. If you join a club and they say, hey, we don't want you talking about XYZ, you don't talk about it. Because that's just part of being in that club. It's not the government coming saying it. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's not. It isn't the same thing. It's it just, I don't know. The whole thing makes me nervous because it seems, that's why I call it a slippery slope. It's at the very top of it, but and then you've got the president of the United States getting on TV and deciding that he's got to make a statement about how, what a brave person this is and everything, and whatever your political beliefs are, it doesn't matter what party he belongs to. He's pandering to the media because it's a hot topic. It's something good to get in front of the cameras. I don't know. Maybe the best thing we could do for all this is not pay attention to any of it and not talk about it. Maybe it'd go away.
Well, that's what makes it is what it is. And of course the media is going to jump on anything. We're always looking for a story. It's just, and I want to switch gears just for a second because I wanted to get this in here. I was watching the Portland game the other day, and Charles Barkley, Sir Charles, made a couple of comments about after saying last week, I'm going to quote Sir Charles, big old women in San Antonio. He says, a place where Victoria is definitely a secret. Was a gold mine for Weight Watchers. Charles Barkley figured to be making the tail between the legs apology after the uproar commenced. Anybody else would have to, but not Sir Charles, one of the handful of people in America who can say whatever he wants and get away with it. Now, what makes that okay? I mean, but here it is. It's an opinion. He's having fun. That's who he is.
It's an entertainment show.
Okay. Yeah, but wait a minute. It's an entertainment show. Yeah. But what if it wasn't one of the other guys?
He gets away with it because he chooses not to. I guess he's probably willing to face the consequences. And
what are his consequences? What is Sir Charles worried about? He's got more money than he'll ever spend.
Then what's he doing working?
He enjoys it.
Exactly.
I mean,
well, the consequences would be, I guess, in theory, if the network got upset enough with him, they could take him off the show.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And guess what?
I mean,
guess what? He's still on TNT.
I know it is entertainment, and you know what? The network probably, this is my opinion, the network probably sits there and says, oh, Charles, you can't say stuff like that.
Yeah, their ratings are going through the roof.
Right, and then they're behind the door when they shut the conference room door and he's gone. They all sit there and go, man, our ratings are going to be up for the next 3 weeks. I hope he says something stupid next week too.
We love controversy. We thrive on this. This is what America is. Charles turns around and says, if you don't like me or the show, turn it off. And
that's the one thing too. I'm not a big Charles Barkley fan.
I love Chuck.
Oh, come on.
No, he played for Arizona. So
oh, dude, that's like
Philadelphia. He played for London.
Yeah, well, that's another hate. That's another reason why it's on the list is that Philadelphia playing. Anytime you play for a team in Pennsylvania, you become on my hate.
Come on, you know what? I personally like him. I actually met Charles Barkley in the airport 3 or 4 years ago. Very obscure, Terminal 3, smaller kind of deal. I knew it was him. I actually said, "What's up, Chuck?" And I didn't. It just kind of came out that way. Whatever. I wasn't even trying to come up with anything. It just kind of came out. I'd say that, what's up, John? It was just his name.
What's
happens
up,
to be Chuck. So he bought Coke or something and something to eat in the airport, sat down, and nobody else was in there. It was early. I got something, and I just said hello to him, and I decided just to leave him alone. He kind of looked over and what have you. But, that aside, and that has really nothing to do with the story, but I like Charles Barkley. I mean, he's outspoken. He is who he is. He's not I think more people would like to be who he is.
You know what? He's an entertainer. Okay, he's no different than Rush Limbaugh. He's no different than Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity. Wait a minute. Hang on. We're not talking about who. We could list 20 conservative people that are just they're shock people. It's what they do. They're entertaining. They get on camera and they say things to rile people up. I don't, Sean Hannity, not Sean Hannity, Combs, his old partner. He is just as inflammatory as a liberal as Rush Limbaugh is as a conservative, and they put him on Fox News all the time because I agree with Dave. People want to see that. I don't listen to Rush Limbaugh. I used to, but Rush Limbaugh used to say that my average listener that loves me listens to my show 45 minutes to an hour. The people that hate me listen anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. And so that's what Charles Barkley
funny
is.
because that was what they said about Howard Stern as well.
It is true about Howard Stern. Howard Stern is just the opposite of Rush Limbaugh, and Charles Barkley is
Not
just
so sure about that, but yeah.
Charles Barkley is just TNT's. He's the bad boy. He's the guy that's going to say stupid stuff.
I do say the fact that he won't apologize earns a lot of respect from me, because not that he cares, all right, not that he's like, oh my God, Jason likes me.
But you're right, because
I'm going to tweet that you like Charles Barkley, and Charles is going to send you like an autographed picture or something. Finally, I got Jason to like me.
He's on my team.
Chuck has come out and said, "This is who I am. Take it or leave it. You don't like me? Turn it off. This is who I am." And you know what? How can you not respect that? Charles Barkley has grown on me more and more and more over the years. He is who he is. He doesn't care. He does his thing. He was a good athlete. People like him. He does his show. He has his opinion. He expresses his opinion. I think the bigger problem with most of us is we're afraid to say what we're thinking because we're afraid of what other people are going to think about us. That is the epitome of who we are. Fact of life. And you know what, whether you agree with it or not, that's my opinion. I truly believe that. So I absolutely respect him. We all joke, but we do it behind closed doors. We don't want somebody to hear us. Too many people worried about somebody judging us or thinking us or who we are going to offend or
recording us.
That's their friends. Hey, you know what? Give it up for them. So, same kind of deal. We all have opinions. We all who we are. Just be who we are.
Well,
and that's what I got to say about that.
And that's your final word.
That's my final word. You know what?
Final word.
So Jason, give us your final take. This has been a great exchange where I love talking to people about things that go on. Give us your final take on all this.
My final take. This is going to be complete 100% opinion. Is that I don't care. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what age you are, what sex you are, what sexual orientation you are. To me, there's so many reasons to hate you on a personal level. I mean, I don't need a general thing to help out on that. But no, seriously, I don't care. I'm the type of person, until you wrong me, you have my trust. And there are people that have wronged me, so there are people on that list. But I really, truly believe that it doesn't matter what you do in your personal life. It matters, what it is, what your job is to do, what it is that you have to do on a daily basis. If it doesn't affect me, I don't care. That's that is the bottom line. If it does not affect me,
well,
everything affects all of us. You know what? Give me a second. The glasses are coming off.
Oh, geez. I thought you had your final word.
No, you know what?
You were wearing the glasses because you were crying. Say it.
I get a little misty, and you're right. What's the bottom line is people are people. We all live in a world. We all have to coexist one way or another. Live and let live. Those are honest words to live by. We can all judge. Don't judge. Don't worry about it. There's a lot more going on. We're here for a very short time. Make the most of what you are. Take care of your friends and your family. Be happy. Enjoy your life. Don't get caught up in all this BS. That's my thoughts. That's where I stand.
Excellent. Well, and I guess I would mirror mirror those comments. It'd be nice if athletes and celebrities would just stick to being athletes and celebrities and make movies and play football, and we didn't have to make hay where hay doesn't need to be made. And I appreciate and value that you guys have such strong opinions and that we can openly discuss them. And I mean, for me, I just want to always feel like that I'm allowed to have an opinion, and I shouldn't be afraid to express it. And and it's great. And I guess what we're doing right here kind of supports all that. So excellent. You guys give yourselves a round of applause.
Yay!
Oh wow, that was.
We need the Google Hangout toolbox.
Yeah, where's that? Who's got the Google?
Somebody was a little slow on the.
Come on, golf clap. So on a lighter note, are we going to talk about the fun side of sports? And do we have any predictions for the week? What's going on, Jason? You're our sports. In fact, you know what? I do have
a prediction for the week.
What's that?
Well, Portland is down 3-1 in a best-of-7 to San Antonio, and my prediction is Portland wins it all.
Wow. Okay.
2014.
Take that one to Vegas. So, hey, Jason, do we have any results from last week? Did anything?
Well, wow, that was a quick Passover.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
There's really only 2 resolutions that happened over the last week. One of them I think we all got. Let me pull up the doc here real quick.
Where are you going, Dave?
Oh man, he's leaving. He's leaving us.
He's going to get another. Shouldn't there be like a beer limit on this show? This is like being at a NASCAR race. Get up, get a beer. Get up, go to the bathroom. Come back with a beer. Get up, go to the bathroom. Come back with another beer.
We
you don't
all
watch NASCAR, do you?
No, I'm not. Oh my goodness. Well, late breaking news. I got late breaking news here. So,
okay. Stop the presses.
The Chicago-Minnesota game for hockey here. We all picked Chicago, and no shocker there. Chicago's a winner. Chicago wins and continues on.
That was my lock.
The New York Penguins game. John picked the Rangers, and you know what? We didn't believe. We did not believe that the Rangers could pull it off. I'm happy. I'm elated. I wanted to be wrong on that one so bad. I'm happy.
Come on, say it.
John won that one.
Oh,
You're amazing.
Right there. Oh.
Winner.
You're amazing. You're amazing. Winner, chicken dinner.
Amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing.
Solid pick of the week.
Well, no, you made 2.
Hey, John, can I just ask you how much that ticket paid in Vegas that
I don't want to disclose any of my financial information.
All right, fair enough. I get you.
All right,
that was hockey, right?
Yeah, you made 2 ironclad hockey predictions.
I did 2?
2 of them. This is the late breaker. Dave and I picked Boston to win, and Montreal just won Game 7, 3-1. Montreal is going on to play the New York Rangers.
Nice. So the Boston's out.
Boston is gone. Now the only
I told you.
The only thing that's left right now is the L.A. Anaheim. This is actually Game 6 that they're playing tonight. L.A. needs to win tonight to stay in it, and if Anaheim wins, they take it all. If L.A. wins, they go to a Game 7. That's going to happen, I think, if I'm not mistaken, on Friday.
So what do we have now? Rangers, Montreal, and Chicago, and whoever.
Yeah, Chicago and whoever wins the Anaheim LA, which
I'm actually ready to make my picks. I don't care if it's which LA team it is.
Yeah, LA is the Kings are winning right now, 1-0. They need to continue. Obviously they need to win in order to continue on. If Anaheim wins, then we've got a short. We'll make these picks actually. I don't know. We need to make them semi-quick, I guess, because by our next show we might be well into the playoffs.
So we got Rangers, Montreal.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick the Rangers over Montreal.
I'm going with the Rangers over Montreal.
Yeah.
And Chicago and the battle of the of the SoCal.
Chicago and LA, depending on Anaheim or LA. So I may
You want me to
pick
jump in
Chicago over
here?
that one.
I'm taking Chicago.
I was going to say I'm going with Chicago. I don't care which SoCal it is.
So we're all taking Chicago to win the western side, and we're all taking New York to win the eastern side.
Who's New? I didn't weigh in there.
Oh, what you got to pick Connect? Come on.
Rangers
You gotta pick
Montreal.
I just
Canadian?
asked. I said I didn't weigh in there. I'd like
If you
to have
hadn't
my
gotten
own.
up to go get a beer or use the bathroom, you
I use my mental telepathy and my ESP to know that you weren't going to pick the Montreal Canadiens.
I used something else, but we'll go with that. Hey. So okay, that's where we're at. That's where we're.
So where are we
picking.
at with basketball?
Basketball.
I just told you, Portland wins the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dave's
It's going to be the most
Portland.
amazing thing ever. And you know what? You're laughing now. You're going like, he's a freaking genius. That's what you're going to say.
I think next Wednesday I'm going to be laughing still.
Okay, maybe you will, but
I think by the end
that's
of the
about-
night you might be laughing here.
maybe that's about your wardrobe, though.
Oh, dude,
Hey,
don't
do
talk
I
about
get to do my word of the week?
Go ahead. You're on.
Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a word. You both give me your best definition, and I'm going to randomly
you have to pronounce it correctly.
I'm going to randomly. Hey, you know what? You give the definition of the word I pronounce, and that's the way it is. This is my segment. This is my deal. So you just tone it down there, party boy. Okay, so Jason, you will answer first.
Right.
Tonight's word, I'm going to spell it for you. FARCTATE. No pronunciation here. I'm just going with my gut. Farctate.
Spell it again, please.
F-A. It's just going to be the. Could you use it in a sentence, please? Farctate. 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 And Jason, whenever you're ready, because you can just cue that thing up in that little pea brain you got there.
Does it have anything to do with
No.
the Earth's crust?
The Earth's crust. Is that no elaboration? It's just the Earth's crust? Farctate?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
maybe it's like I don't know. I have no idea. I would have to say.
I think
something about
the Earth's crust. Okay, John, we're going to turn it to you. John, now that you've Googled it, go ahead.
I did not Google it. And based on my answer, you'll know I didn't Google it. I think it is French for farting silently in public.
Very
not
good
Tate,
answer.
it's tate. It's fart tate.
I see. Now that you're saying it right, my definition is completely different.
Yeah, what's your definition? I'll let you have two.
It's like it means that you overfilled something. You know, you've farted that.
Okay, so now that
overfilled it. Like I
Googled it, I just watched, and I can see it in your headset, your eyeglasses.
For mine?
Yes.
He doesn't have glasses on.
His eyeglasses.
Yeah, okay, there.
That's okay. I'm going to call BS on that. Farctate is the state of being stuffed with food, or simply overeating.
Are you? Is that the Merriam-Webster definition of it?
Well, yeah, you just looked it up. Why don't you tell me?
Having a center solid but softer in consistency than a peripheral layer.
That sounds like my last
the Earth's
turd.
crust. Okay, that was the. I'm going to actually come up with something.
Fungi. It's a fungus thing. No, it's Latin. Farctus.
No, farctate. Okay, that was actually fun. I tell you what, with our theme tonight and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of winging it, because truthfully, this was my night. I passed the buck, John. I think you did a great job, just kind of picking up for my shortcomings there, and me passing the buck and being the prognosticator that I am. I think it actually.
Don't you mean prognosticator?
I think it.
I think he meant procrastinator.
Oh, that's the word I'm looking for.
Oh, that's
procrastinator. Well, truthfully,
Yeah.
it's in our genes. It runs in our family. That's who we are. You know, it's funny, Jason and I, the closer we've got over the years and talking about stuff, although we are completely different people, or we got different backgrounds, what we do, who we are, the meat of the issue, we have a lot of the same traits. We really share a lot of the same traits. And pronunciation is hey, that's the way I like to pronounce it.
What are you
it,
doing?
So
You're doing your John Travolta. I'd like to introduce Adele Nazid to sing from Frozen.
Honestly, we have a lot of similarities in the way we do things and our habits and our ethics and so on and so forth. Even though I'm a lot smarter than he is, we still
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's and even
That's right, because I'm ignorant.
I
that goes without saying.
I solved our some of the audio problems, so I have a song to take us out at the end.
Well,
Excellent.
We're not ready for the end. You know what? I honestly think we should make this a 90-minute show. I think 90 minutes is going to be perfect. Now the fact that I've just given myself a
wedgie
pay raise, and I'm going to be the executive producer. You guys have to self-proclaim your own roles in our show. And it's not a 2-bit show anymore; it's a 3-bit show. So
wow. You found a quarter in the couch, huh?
Yeah, I did.
So Jason, how about some last parting comments from you?
All right. Well, I guess this is it goes by fast, the time, especially when we get on some stuff that we can really talk about. But I don't know. I don't really have last comments this week. I'm a little unprepared because I was thinking that somebody else was actually going to do some preparation.
Oh, come on. That's a cop out. Honestly, here's my opinion. We've done a couple of these now. We're really have no organization. We're trying to, and I think we'll get better. Either way, regardless, we'll get better with a little bit of time and practice and stuff like that, even if we're not going to put a lot of effort into it. This is a lot of fun. I honestly think, in my opinion, this was probably the best yet. I mean, I think we just get a little more. It's like anything. You do it enough, you're just going to get better at it. It's kind of like riding a bike or girlfriends and sex and all that kind of stuff too. But
wow.
I honestly have a lot of fun doing this stuff with you guys, and I know we're just kind of goofing around, and you can take it for what it is, but it truly is a lot of fun. I honestly, Jason and I did this a couple times before. I kind of rebelled against it. He pushed me into doing it again, and I use that kind of lightly because we do this every day. The only difference is we don't always record it. And I do this with both of you guys. We'll sit on the phone and we can talk for hours. So it's just another excuse for us to kind of get together and have some fun and shoot the bull.
Well, guys, we had a great night tonight. I had a wonderful time. It's always good to hear your opinions, and for myself, I enjoy doing this. I love discussion. I think that's what makes where we live and everything so great, that we can have opinions and have these kind of open discussions. I'm looking forward to some more great shows, and based on how late we started and when we're wrapping it up, I think we're pretty darn close to finishing up. So on behalf of myself and Dave and Jason, for all you out there watching, thanks for joining us this evening, and cue up the bumper music.
All right.
Hey! I just want to thank you, all my fans, and
God.
Peace out to my boys in the Middle East.
All right, here we go.
Get that music on quicker.
See you guys next week, I guess.
Same time, same channel.
Yeah.
Does this mean we're off the air?